アシュルがなぜカウンターの上にいるかって？接客さ。餌代を稼がないとだろう？裁きのいかず捕まえた。終わりね。嘘はいけないね。丸裸にしてやる。なるほど。欺瞞の叫びよ。
Man, she's really fucking annoying to deal with her shit. It's just like, look like she's barely any health because she takes all the fucking damage and she keeps fucking unlocked in the middle of her attacks. God, she's fucking annoying at times. It's like, fuck, she's annoying to use. Like, the idea that you could use her, like, the problem is, it's like, oh, you put her in a Nod Cry. No, she's shit in a Nod Cry team because you have no fucking healers for Nod Cry. It's just like, dude, what the fuck is this shit? It's like, I'm like holding the fucking button down, and it's like, dude, I'm getting smacked out of her fucking skill in between skills because she doesn't smoothly go from skill to skill. She doesn't. You can't just hold circle and just go from skill 1, 2, 3 back to back super easily. No, you know what happens is you go into 1, then there's still a little gap before you go into 2, then there's still a little gap before you go into 3, and if you're constantly taking damage while she's doing any of these skills, you can be stunned out of it in the middle of those attacks. It's just like so fucking annoying to deal with. Dude, fuck off. Like, and then you get like shit like that. It's like, come on, man. Like, it's just, yeah. Nefer's playstyle is kind of annoying. Like, she has her moments. But honestly, like, the bane of her existence is just enemies that do lots of little attacks. You know, if it's enemies that do big, heavy attacks, no problem, really. Because you can, like, dodge stuff, you can prep stuff, you're like, oh, okay, it's going to do this big wind-up attack. Cool, I'll get dodge out of it, and then start prepping. Now that I know I've dodged out of the way, I'm going to start prepping her charge attack to get her attack in, you know? But for lots of little tiny attacks, you just get fucked. Yeah, look at that. I did a little fucking dash attack. It's like, why did you do a dash attack? Why are you not dead? Dude, what the fuck? He has like a sliver of fucking health the entire time. What the fuck is he not dead for? And look at that, like, yeah. And then, like, while that's all happening, the fucking thing just keeps shooting her in the fucking face and she just keeps fucking, has no fucking health again. It's like, dude. She's such a fucking pain in the ass to use. Yeah. Like, she is super hot, and I do like her, and, like, she has her uses, but goddamn, she's really fucking annoying to use in, like, most circumstances. Like, I've never had another unit, because, like, she does get DPS, and that's the problem, really. Is that, like, for other characters, I'd be like, oh, well, the DPS the DPS of like Raiden or Gillan are better, so I'll just focus on their attacks and not even bother using my friendship team members, and only use them in like in the teams that are perfect for them. But yeah, Never just has this. I think the problem is just the delays in the attacks, because you have the delay between her every single one of her charge attacks. That half-second delay is fucking lethal, because not only do you have to wait half a second for you to register that, oh, okay, I did my charge attack. Please start your charge. Please do your charge attack. You know, like not only do you have to hold. See, like there's a half second where you actually like, are charging that. You know, not only do you have to do that every fucking time. That happens before every single one. It's not like you can go from 1, 2, 3 just back to back to back with no gap in between. No, there's a gap in between which you can be smacked out of, which really fucking ruins your flow. Because even though you're holding it down the entire time, you think you just do it instantly. They don't consider the idea that you're going to do it simultaneously, and so they don't have a seamless transition from 1, 2, and 3. But I mean, realistically, all you need to do is a seamless transition between 2 charge attacks, but they just don't have that. So you basically have to... And then, like, while you're doing it, too, you also are, like, stuck in place for a second. You know? Hello there? So, like, you're also stuck in place for a second while you're doing your attack, which leaves you completely open to being hit. So, that's what's so rough about it. Like, I could obviously switch to a better team. Like, that was my friendship team. So if I swapped a team that's designed around... Okay, well, shit, they died already. They died before I could even have Nefer do a rotation. So obviously, yes, in a team designed kind of around her, well, no, I mean, like, there are tons of options. So if you want to get stagger resistant, having any shield at all will interrupt any stagger. So that's why Baiji's shield is good, even though, or Toma's as well. Although Toma's does stack to become actually beefy, but like Baiji's shield is all pretty relatively small, and even crystallizes. Just having a shield, even if it breaks the shield. Well, I mean, you say that, but it's like you picked quite literally one of the worst elements you could have possibly picked. So it's a Nefer team, and you picked a cryo unit, someone who does not react with her whatsoever. Like, it's cryo and dendro. Like, there's literally no interaction between those elements. So obviously, I'm not going to put her in a team like that. See, like that, I just got stunned out of my fucking attack. It's so fucking annoying. I mean, it does. Obviously, I couldn't use it in a team like this, because then I would lose my Nilo buff. Although I might not need it. But even still, well, Bennett sucks dick. I'm never gonna use him ever. But also, there's the thing is that Diona's shield doesn't have 100% uptime. Like, if I was gonna do a shield, I would do Layla's shield that has uptime, or I'd do Zhongli's shield because it has resistance shred. Like, yeah, sure, C6 Diona gives elemental mastery, but like other people can give elemental mastery too. In fact, there are weapons. No, she doesn't. Her shield, when you charge it, lasts like 8 seconds, and the CD for it is longer. No, it's not even close. It's like 66% uptime. It's 2/3. It's shit. That's why she's rough to use. Now, obviously, you want to give her the Diona. Hey, where is she? Oh, yeah. I think I put her in my favorites, right? Yeah, yeah. So the press and hold CD are 6 and 15 seconds respectively. The duration. Oh crap! Does it not say it? It should. Oh no, yeah, 2.4 seconds per paw. With yeah, so 12 seconds. You have 3 seconds where it's not applicable, and then so 3 seconds. So it's 80%. 80% uptime. So still not 100. Layla has literally 100, but it's like exactly 100. The duration lasts exactly as long as it is. Zhongli's has longer. Toma's I know lasts longer as long as you can keep his as long as you can keep his energy charged up. But I gave him an ER weapon. Well, no, not really. If you do only one skill, sure. But you can actually get both skills off at once. So the idea is you actually do burst, skill, all 3 charge attacks, skill, all 3 charge attacks. To get them all done. And then of course that's assuming that there's no downtime whatsoever. And then of course also assuming that the shield itself doesn't pop. Because you're standing, as you saw, I stood there and took almost my entire health's worth of damage. So if this shield pops, then you're basically fucked, and you can't get a shield up again. So you'd want to. So I mean, obviously, yeah. If you're fighting against cryo enemies, but again, or if you're fighting against cryo enemies, you still wouldn't want to use Nefer anyway, because again, it doesn't react. But I mean, yeah, I have a C6, so I do have the ER that she gives from this, which is obviously nice. And it does heal as well, so as long as I keep her topped off. And I have her with that bow, so she can have a higher likelihood to get her thing back. There you go. I mean, the whole thing is just you need a healer. So it's fine with a healer. The problem is my friendship team doesn't have a healer, because usually I would need to... you say that. Oh, yeah, but one of the free-to-play options, assuming C6. What? How is a C6 at 4-star a free-to-play option? You know? Obviously a C6. Because only a C6 does she get that huge EM bump, and that... Sure, like that, and that's what you're... Yeah. You do realize it's actually harder to get max constellations on a 4-star than a 5-star? Sure, it's more likely for people to have her at that because of how long she's been out. And she's been out since 1.1. She came out with Tartaglia and Zhongli. As a new player, it's not free. So basically, when you're talking about free-to-play, usually you're talking about like for relatively new people. So you're talking about like C0 stuff. I mean, it's a goal, sure. You could be like, yeah, sure, like if you want, but like telling a free-to-play person to hunt for constellations on a 4-star is super not free-to-play, simply because you can't really do that. Because of how annoying it is to actually get constellations on 4-stars. Because at least with 5-stars, you have a guarantee, right? You have the pity. You're definitely going to get the 4-star or 5-star a certain amount of time. Yeah, but typically when you're talking about like free-to-play options, you're usually talking about low spenders or no spenders. and I mean like in actual like Prima Gem, like using the Prima Gems they have, so like they're not pulling on banners that frequently. So, and 4-stars have no guarantee whatsoever on getting them, right? So like, even if they're on the banner, like I don't know, is she on the current banner? No, she's not. Okay, but like let's say I want to Lan Yan, right? Like I could get a C6 Arlecchino before I got a C6 Lan Yan, as an example. Now, obviously, the odds are, because at least with Arlecchino, I know the max number of pulls I would need to do to get a C6 Arlecchino, right? Whereas Lan Yan has, in theory, unlimited pulls to get her, because I'm only guaranteed. I only have, I think it's 50% chance to get a rate up 4-star. Yeah, like anyone who's played the game for a while knows how fucked you can get when you have a C6 for the other two and you don't have a C6 on one of them, of the 4-stars, and you're like, oh, well, stop giving me the other two. Give me the one I actually need constellations for. Yeah, so it sucks. So, saying that, it's like hunting for constellations on 4-stars is rough. Also, the fact that you actually have to hunt for constellations on 4-stars means you have to pull on banners you might not want, right? So a free-to-play person, ideally, is not going to want to pull on a banner that has Giona if they don't want the 5-star. You shouldn't. And there definitely are a lot of horror stories of people who are like, oh man, I was just trying to build pity on this banner and I accidentally got the 5-star early. Fuck, I wasted my pity. Damn it. Shit like that. Where they're like, oh man, I just want to get some extra constellations on my 4-star, but I accidentally got the 5-star and wasted my pity. I had a guarantee. At least one. I mean, I do agree with you that you're right. That because of how old she is and how many banners she's been on, most people have a Diona, right? She's also in the standard banner pool, I believe, as well. So you could actually get her as a 4-star from the standard banner, or even from the limited banner. I think, even when she's not rate up. Pretty sure, right? I think she'll still be on the pool, right? All right, no. So show the list. Oh yeah, here we go. Is this not in alphabetical order? Shit, it's not. It's annoying. Diona, yeah. So Diona is there. So yes, you could still get her even if she's not rate up. Obviously, the odds of it are much worse because you have to lose the 50% rate up, and then you have an even bigger pool to get her from. But yeah. So you could still get her, and I don't doubt someone has them, but you were talking about like C6 Diona, and that is a special type. Like, maybe, because I got her C6 pretty early. I was actually farming for her, because like there weren't any shielders at the time. It was basically just Zhongli, Noelle, and Jinyan were the only shielders. So I was like, oh, Diona's really cool. She provides a cryo shield. There's a lot of cryo element shit. I mean, it's definitely helpful in Dragonspine, which came out at that time too. So I was actually farming for her constellations. That's why I had like a C2 child, because I actually got her C6 during Child's first banner. Where's my child? C2 or C1? C2, yeah. So even though I don't really use Child, I don't really like Child as a character. So yeah, like I've been playing since the very beginning. So obviously it's hard for me to know how long it would have taken me, like, to quote unquote naturally get her to C6. But like a lot of my characters, especially the old ones, like all my old characters are thing. Even like Lan Yan, who's relatively new. I think. I mean, okay, so I do use him. Like, it's not like I don't use him at all. I even made a team around him too. And yeah, exactly. His damage output is so bad these days. Like, I made this team, and it's just like, and when I try to use him in Imaginarium Theater, it's just like, oh my god, like, dude, you are so fucking weak. Like, I can't get anything done with you. Like, his Hydra application is good, but like, he just doesn't really bring anything to the team. I mean, I'm relying on other characters to basically carry him through. So it's rough. Even though I tried to use him, because I'm like, well, I have him C2, let's try to use him. Yeah, I think, like, I understand conceptually, it's like, and back in the day, like, that kind of was fine, because his rotation was fine. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, you put him on the field for, like, I think his artifact set even told you how long he should be on the field. It was like, you keep him on the field for, like, 15 seconds or something like that, right? Because the artifact of the deep, yeah, for 15 seconds. The 4-piece set. So it's like, yeah, keep him on the field for 15 seconds, you swap off, and then while everyone else is doing their skills and bursts and all that shit, by the time you swap back on, his cooldown should be up. But the problem, of course, is that, like, that's assuming that every other character is going to be have their skill and burst ready and all that shit, and then just his damage output is kind of lackluster. Trying to use him in later parts of the Imaginarium theaters is pretty rough. So that is unfortunate. So I have tried using him. But basically, at the beginning, like when I first got him, I didn't really use him that much. Because I was focused on other characters. I mean, that's like, Ganyu came out like a patch or two after, and I really loved Ganyu. I was using Ganyu all the time. Yeah. It's a shame. Like, I do have some hope that, so like we have, exactly. Actually, I have a Kaching team too. Like, Kaching was one of the first 5 stars I lost my, my 50/50 to. And she was actually really rough to use early on in the early game because of how many shielded Hilichurls there were and the fact that, like, her sword can't do shit against shields. So she was really, really rough to use. But then, basically, since I got her her outfit from the last, not the last, but like when she had her Lunar New Year outfit, I made a team around her, and in Dendro especially. Basically, when Sumeru popped in, I created a team around Kaching, and I really like her playstyle. She's really fun to use. I enjoy playing her. Yeah, I forgot to turn in my. Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for Child. So obviously with this, they're finding ways to kind of reinvigorate older characters and make them more interesting. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe later, when we go to Snezhnaya especially, that we might start seeing like the Fatui, any Fatui-related characters might get a faction buff in that way as well. So we might see Child, maybe Wanderer. I don't know if Wanderer will be considered, probably, because he's kind of like the Fatui. You know, maybe Columbina as well. You know, so we might see some sort of faction buffs when that comes out. Maybe. Hard to say, obviously. It's completely up to them. They can do whatever the fuck they want. But yeah, let's see. What's my Kaching team? Yeah, this is my Kaching team. And it was just like, yeah, it feels really good. I enjoy playing it. It's fun. And honestly, Child's team is fun to play. Like, it's a fun team. I basically had Nahida on his team as well, replacing Llama, and then I think I had Yai Miko instead of Inefa. But since I was like, oh, if I'm going to swap to Llama, I might as well bring in Inefa too. To a degree, like, it depends. Like, they could be a little fast and loose. Like, technically, Razor doesn't really make sense. Like, Razor isn't really part of the Witch's Circle. He was trained by Varka and Lisa, and neither of them are part of the Hexen Circle buffs. Well, Varka maybe, who knows? Like, Varka is not out yet, so we don't know if he's going to be considered. Yeah, it'd be nice if they did just generic buffs too. Just to kind of like, to be like, oh, okay, well, here's a bunch of like 1.x characters that we're also just going to buff, like increase their damage, maybe fine-tune some of their constellations. Like, that was actually kind of one of my bigger complaints about like the 1.0 characters. Their constellations were really all over the place. Like, Venti's was a good example of it. Like, we all know that basically all Animo are support, and so you put Viridus and Venerer on them, and they're all just about resistance shred, and that's it. They only exist to do their skill and burst so that they can keep resistance shredding. Fine. But then, like, Venti had his first constellation getting extra aim shots. It's like, well, you're not using Venti for DPS, so what the fuck's the point of this, right? This is still kind of useful, although physical resistance, what a joke. And then, like, this too. It's like, oh, animal resistance, and then animal resistance plus whatever you absorb. Like, the animal resistance doesn't really matter, because, like, again, Venti's not there for DPS, so his personal animo damage is not going to be shit. Now, with the Hex and Circle buffs, Venti's becoming more of a DPS, so you're actually going to build him maybe more like a DPS, and we'll see what the artifact set is they're going to introduce. That might help that. But then there was, like, stuff like Jean, too, like... well, Mona actually was also kind of annoying, too. Her constellations, like, she was mostly there just to do kind of her skill for shits and giggles, but really she's only there for her burst. Just do her burst, and then do big damage with a reaction. But then it's like, oh yeah, this obviously does help. Yeah, I never really invested in him. Like, I got him because, right when the game came out, everyone was like, oh my god, you gotta use Venti. Look, if you do a skill, you can bump yourself up. Makes, the exploration so much easier. You can float up and then glide. Like, that's so amazing. So I got him. And then, of course, he was the first banner, so it's like, it's kind of helpful to pull heavy early on, because you get a lot of 4 stars, you get the 5-star, and you get constellation stuff, which really makes it easier. So, like, Mona C1, fine, but like this, like, you're not C2, like, you don't have Mona on the field. Like, no one uses Mona as the active DP, like, as the active field character. So this is not helpful. This is kind of helpful. And this, again, is not helpful, because it's, like, so C2 and C6 just boost her personal damage, but you don't use her for personal damage. Like, she's just a burst bot. She just pops on the field, does her burst, and her skill just for the energy, and then fucks off. It is, yeah. There definitely are some uses, like, and her burst is really super useful. She does really good damage for screenshot type damage, and, like, C1 does really help her. But it's just, like, it's kind of this weird thing that, like, a lot of support 1.0 characters we're given, like, DPS constellations. And you're just like, why? Like, I'm not using them for DPS. Like, they're clearly support characters. Like, they're clearly not going to have much field time at all. Like, why do you give us C2? Why do you give us C6? Like, we're not going to build her for that. Yeah, and that was the other kind of tough thing, is that Mona was the only one who had especially on release, it was much, much worse. Like, it was way too fast and loose, that dash. And then I think when Ayaka came around, they decided to rework both Ayaka's and Mona's, so it's not as... The movement isn't as weird, but it still is kind of it's definitely a learned thing. It's not super intuitive. It's definitely not easy. But having her, having her swap and then dash into the enemy super quick to do it, like, that's fine. Like, I kind of get in the habit with my Ayaka, where you just go... you just kind of dash in real quick, and then... You tap it just to do a little thing, and then be already ready to continue that. So you do the same for Mona. You just do it. But it was worse. Like, I do remember that there was... I can't remember which patch it was. I'm pretty sure it was around Ayaka time, when they realized, oh, well, if we're going to give another character this type of dash, then we really need to make it suck less and make it more responsive, and has a shorter in and out time. She goes in and out of the earth much faster than they did before. Same for Mona. But yeah, like, that was the kind of rough thing, is the early 1.0 characters had these weird constellations where they're clearly support characters with DPS constellations. So it's like, well, shit. Because, like, those are the ones you're most likely to see 6, because you're just going to lose 50-50s eventually over time. And so it's like, it's kind of sucks that they just give you constellations that are not super helpful. Like, Diluc was fine, because, like, and for DPS characters, it was always fine, because for DPS characters, they pretty much only ever did DPS things or stuff that could help DPS. And I think Jean, too, was kind of a... Jean was mostly fine. I think she just had one bad constellation. Yeah, like the C1. Oh, good. Does more damage with her skill. Who cares? This was super useful. Not many characters can improve movement speed and attack speed. So that was super helpful. This is kind of helpful, but again, she's the Animo character, so it's like it would be improving her damage. But I guess it kind of means she can also do it to support other Animo DPS, which didn't exist at her time. This is obviously awesome. Like that's insanely good. So yeah, her C1 and C4 are just kind of like meh. C1 is absolute shit. C4 is kind of situational. Yeah, it'll be good with Venti. It'll be good with Wanderer. It'll be good with... I mean, I guess technically Zhao did come out relatively quickly. So technically it's kind of good for him, although not really because Zhao does move around a lot. So the odds of being in her field are pretty low. Well, having the enemies be in the field are low, especially when he does his sponge attacks and smacks them back if they're small enemies. But yeah, but like at the time, like when she first came out, yeah. But at the time when Jean first came out, like Venti was not Venti, like Wanderer didn't exist at all. Wanderer would be ways away, and Venti was supposed to be a support, and Zhao came out a few patches. Like Zhao was like 1.2, I think, something like that. But yeah, so like on release, she was like, man, it's kind of meh. And then yeah, Diluc was DPS, so he was fine. I think Chi-Chi had some DPS ones too, didn't she? That's fine for her. Yeah, like great. Her normal and charge attacks. Yes, because that's what I want. I want my Chi-Chi to be on the field. Now, to be fair, with her skill up, I think she does heal her party members when she does do attacks against them, especially when she triggers her little talisman card. But like, really, like having their actually, weirdly enough, my Chi-Chi was C1 for the longest time. She was actually one of the... I was surprised, but she was one of the characters that had the lowest number of constellations out of the base characters. It's like my Jean was a C2 at the time. But then, like, in the last few months, like, if I've been losing my 50-50s, it's been to her. So it's like, God damn it, she ruined the meme. But yeah, like, this one had their attack decreased, but, like, who gives a shit, really? Like, you're a healer. Like, who cares if they do attacks? You should be healing through it. And this is kind of okay. It's kind of shit because it's a 15-minute thing. And then after you use your burst, whereas Barbara's just happens automatically. Just automatically reses dead people. This time you could still fuck up if you don't have your burst up to do it. So yeah, so we'll see. But like yeah, with the Hex and Circle stuff, we might see some leeway here. Maybe they'll have a leeway circle, like a Rex Lapis buff. Like people under Rex Lapis' faction might start getting. I mean, ideally, they would just do it, right? They would just be like, "Yep, sure, we're just gonna buff them." Considering the power of all the new characters and the fact that we, make Imaginarium Theater more difficult each time, we'll go and buff some of the older characters. And I think maybe that's why they have allowed us to level 100, because it's like, I guess technically you could level an old character to 100 and kind of make up for that. I mean, he already did get a buff. And I think his utility is still really good. Like, his shield is still really useful. It's a really powerful shield that has 100% uptime and reduces the resistance of reduces all resistance to every enemy around him, or any enemy around you, the shielded character. So like that alone is still just useful. So you completely absorb damage. Really good shield, assuming you build it for him for HP, of course, which I do. I have him. It's not terrible. I thought was it 15% or is it 20? Steady. Oh yeah, 20%. Yeah, I mean it's not a Viridescent Benra, but I think even doesn't Shillinen have the same? Or is it Shillinen's 40%? Is that it? Here's my Geo. Oh, it's 36, so it's definitely better, I guess. Almost twice as much so. In fact, oh no, that is the max level. I guess if I got constellations, it would bump up to maybe 40. So it would be double. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, Shilliman's is better, but, like, she she doesn't shield. Well, I mean, I guess her crystallizes kind of shield. But, but mostly it's about her heals, so she'll heal through. But Zhongli, the ability to prevent shield, the ability to prevent damage is incredibly useful because of the lack of stagger. True. Yeah, Lin Yan is definitely really useful, is the fact that she can do Veritas Inventor, get that resistance shred. She's also stacked for attack for max, so she could actually do some damage, although you still don't want her to do it. What's her? I think she has 100% uptime on this too, right? Yeah. Oh, actually, no, she doesn't. So yeah, it's not 100% uptime, which does kind of suck. I mean, I don't know. I think like she doesn't have 100% uptime, so I would say that's kind of a negative. I don't think duration's good. So like the fact that Zhongli does have 100% uptime and then some. Like he has like a 20-second shield and he can do his skill every 12 seconds. So like that's insanely useful. And it's a really beefy shield. Now, yeah, he doesn't get as much. True. Because his shield is so strong. I mean, I don't know. Like it depends. There are definitely times where it is helpful if you're going in between rotations and shit. Like if in Spiral Abyss, I imagine he's far less useful because then you could just tailor your shield to the enemy, and you could only need it to last for as long as your rotation lasts. But I think Zhongli's shield is just a generically good shield for all circumstances. And like most other characters, like Lin Yan is able to do Veritas Inventor to get some resistance shred, but most other shielders don't even have that at all. You know, Diona, Layla, Jinyan, like all they could put a shield that could resist their element a little stronger, but yeah, but that's requiring people to be skillful. People aren't skillful. People, you know, Zhongli's shield is a security blanket for the people who don't want to have to dodge. There's always those times where it's nice to do that. And then, of course, like you get the certain enemies, like the like that Earth one down here, the Earth one in Fontaine. This guy, the Legatus Golem, he pops up in Imaginarium Theater. Zhongli's skill is insanely good at popping that shield, and basically he is like he's one of the best geo breakers in the game as well. I guess Navia is pretty good too, but yeah, Zhongli is incredibly useful in that regard. So he does have his use. So I would say he's not in a desperate need for a buff, because of all his utility combined. I would say just the other characters where it's like, yeah, the other DPS, like trying to use a 1.x DPS these days would be kind of rough. Hell, even like Arlecchino, like I was trying to use Arlecchino in some of the like combat events and shit. She just is way too big. She has way too much of an up. She needs too much preparation to really do her shit. And so she's really tough in these ones where you only have like 2 minutes to do something. Because like you need to do her skill, go off field, get some. I have my Toma do his skill and burst. I have my Yelan and Xingqiu do their skill and burst, and then I pop back to Arlecchino. But that's like a ton of time wasted. And then she just like absolutely shreds through them, but then she has to then reapply her skill. It's just a lot of prep for her. That's kind of rough. Yeah, Yoimiya needs some love. Probably. I did hear that you could I did hear that her attacks are actually wide enough that it still can capture people blasted back by her overload. And maybe I should just do that, especially now that we have a lot of good electro options. Yeah, like Yoimiya's in a rough spot. I mean, all Freeze teams were absolutely dead in the water until Escoffier came around. And I mean, we're gonna get Durin, and Durin's No. Actually, no. I think, or is it? Is Alice? I think Alice is supposed to be the pyro version of Escoffier. Essentially, she's going to be a very good pyro team buffer. But yeah, like freeze teams were absolute shit without Escoffier because they just didn't know actually like they couldn't react with anything, and their damage was just too low to actually do anything useful. And now we have a little more utility around them. It's nice that Albedo is getting a buff. The fact that his flower kept getting destroyed made Shiori hands down the better option. I mean, she was already a better option because of her dual scaling, and Albedo, you could only go kind of one way or the other. I think Tignar needs a buff. I just don't like his playstyle, and it feels so weak, too. Hu Tao probably needs one, too. She was fine back in the day, but now her DPS output is too low, and the whole point of her is, like, high risk, high rewards, and, like, you don't get enough reward from her damage because it's too low, so she needs a buff. Please give me an interesting buff, so... He's interesting. I like his attacks, but it's every time I tried using him in Imaginarium, it just feels so weak. Like every time I use him, like that's the one that almost runs the clock. Because I mean, to be fair, I don't use him that much, so yeah, that might be my fault. And I guess I don't really have him built super well because I should probably have higher EM. Oh yeah, it's obviously not his best in slot either. I have him with this. I guess crit damage is pretty good, but yeah, I sacrificed EM for that. I probably need a little more. I need an EM bow, basically, and to kind of make up for the fact... Oh, actually, shit, that has a lot of crit rate, though. Well, I still probably need an EM bow to make up for it, make him stronger, but yeah, he could use a buff. Dea obviously could use a buff. Dea kind of came out pretty in a rough state, but at the very least, she was kind of okay as an off-field pyro applicator, but... I just didn't like Setho's playstyle. Like, I just don't like the fact that you're, like, locked in place, and the piercing thing was just kind of weird. I'm like, nah, I don't want to use him. You know, is the other factor? Diluc probably could use a buff, but I'm not really sure, because I never really use him either. I mean, every one person has characters that they like. I like Dea, even though she's weak. Like, I like her design. I like her playstyle. I think her ultimate looks super fucking cool. But, you know, Mavica just is stronger than her in every single way. So, what are you going to do? So, I tried to make a Hazo team work. I liked him conceptually. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know, the first kind of Animo cattle. He was the first kind of, like, fist user. So the first character to use his fists have a catalyst user use their fists. The best way for them to like pretend to have another weapon type to be like, oh well, sure, we're gonna have melee fighters, and we're just gonna make them catalyst users because then they'll do their melee attacks instead of using a catalyst like previous catalyst users were. Like just instead of throwing magic, they actually fight. So I liked him conceptually. I was like, oh wow, he's really cool. I tried to make a team with him too. Now, I probably shouldn't have used a team of only 4 stars. I think I chose him, Kaya, Zhangling, and like Chi-Chi, so I could have all their like skills up at once, skills or bursts up at once, to get all the reactions and shit. But like I was going against the Fontaine dancers, and he was just so weak. Like my Kaching team would like do it in 5 seconds, and I mean I do understand. Like my Kaching team was full of 5 stars. Yeah, I mean I thought he'd be cool because it's like, oh cool, like. As long as I can have other off-field supports, and maybe I could bring him back now that we have a lot of really good options. Like Mavica can consistently do fire, so Hazo will now be able to consistently swirl every hit. So we do have a lot more off-field support that could help him out a little more. Because like I was relying on Kaya's burst and Jingling's burst to get a variety of elements up, but the energy costs for the two of them are so drastically different. It's really hard to make sure they both had energy off cooldown. Same for Chi-Chi. Like, I use her as my healer, and the fact that her skill will also rotate around you doing extra elemental damage. But her skill is also an insanely long cooldown. So managing that was kind of shit. Where I guess if I swapped to, you know, Mavica and Fiorina. I imagine Hazo, Mavica, Fiorina, and then a healer of whatever type would be fine. You know, maybe Barbara or Jean, something like that. I imagine I could get more use out of Hazo. It was the kind of thing I tried out. Probably not. I mean, maybe I do. I just don't recognize it by that name. I assume it's an abbreviation for some sort, but still probably not. I don't like look super hard into this game. Like I look up build guides just so I know what to use for what and what to prioritize and shit. But beyond that, I'm not like super sweaty. Most of my characters don't have really good artifacts. They have good enough. Oh, I see. GH. Then no, not by that abbreviation. Then who is it? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Contact creator. I see. Yeah, I remember back in the day, like Enviosity had his whole free-to-play teams trying to do Spiral Abyss, making sure it's still doable. I'm not sure if he's still around and doing shit. I haven't really paid attention to Genshin content creators in a while, especially because there's like good websites out that basically give recommendations for what relics to use. Oh, cool. Yeah, I've definitely seen some cool, interesting videos. Like I've seen I've seen a 1 HP Amber beat the Boreas, and I think even Raiden's the Raiden weekly boss. I've seen some really interesting like builds around shit like that, where it's like, yeah, just pure skill. Yeah, you can definitely like iframe a lot of shit, and and most things are telegraphed. If you do the boss often enough, you know exactly like, oh, this is this attack, this is that attack. And get the timings for them. Like for when Arlecchino comes in on her second phase, even if I'm the one targeted, I can usually iframe out of her landing animation, so I don't take damage from that. So I'll usually try to like bait it by trying to move early, so that I can iframe through it and it doesn't target another character. But I usually don't co-op. Yeah, I think it is cool that you can do these things like that, and like that's why I think this game is really good. And the people who say like there's no challenge, it's like, yeah, there's no challenge because if you keep up to date and get the good characters, but like challenge is where you make it, right? Like Elden Ring, there's so many people who do like soul level 1 runs of Elden Ring. It's like, yeah, they're making it more challenging. They're introducing the challenge, and that's fine. Like this game does have challenge if you want to try. Yeah, and Stiggins, yeah, for the super whales, where it's like, yeah, I've whaled really hard, or I'm just really skilled, and I know the game very well, and I've built characters very well. It's kind of the issue that Borderlands 4 is having right now, is that, like, UVHM5 is not enough of a challenge for some of the builds that people create. Well, like, for the super whales, they can go and do max and actually complete it. But the fact that it adds a specific level of challenge means for the people who are really skilled. Yeah. But the idea is that it's unlike the other things, which aren't insanely challenging, so lesser skilled players can still do 4-star runs of Spiral Abyss and Theater. Well, Imaginarium Theater, you kind of have to. It's like there just aren't enough 5 stars in the game. Well, actually, yeah. And so it provides that level of challenge. And that's why kind of people are disappointed with the Borderlands 4 endgame, is because there's not a raid boss. There wasn't a raid boss on release. It's because like the natural difficulty of Ultimate Vault Hunter wasn't difficult enough once you've gotten your builds all maxed out. And so people are like trying to test out builds, but they just have nothing to test it against. And Genshin really didn't have that either. Is that, sure, we kind of had, we had Spiral Abyss kind of as a test, but it was never that challenging of one, because it's kind of meant to be able to be done within every 2 weeks. Yeah. And I mean, it was definitely more challenging right when the game first came out, when like no one had max level characters. People didn't have their 5-star artifacts because their AR rank wasn't high enough. Shit like that. But nowadays, where it's much easier to get. There's much more content in the game where you can just focus on Archon quests and easily get your AR rank bumped up. Whereas before it was like, nah, we didn't have the Archon quest. Like we finished the prologue in Act 1, and then we're just like, shit, we have nothing to do, so we just did dailies to level up. But nowadays people can be like, nope, I'll finish Mondstadt, finish Leeway, go into Inazuma, finish Sumeru, finish Fontaine, and then boom, I'm AR 60 without feeling the squeeze of having to grind. So it's much easier to get into, and they haven't really. I mean, I guess there obviously has been power creep within Spiral Abyss. They are increasing the difficulty of bosses. Some of the enemies are a humongous pain in the ass to deal with, like the Waynut. Like fuck the Waynut. Like Jesus Christ. Like an enemy, and it's like or like the Chasm Snake. It's like an enemy that's underground and untargetable for like 1/3 of its run time, and you're going to give us a time to run on the enemies like that? Fuck that. Like, that's bullshit. Yeah, when the Waynut appeared in Imaginarium Theater, that was a humongous pain in the ass. I think I tried to... At least he's in the air, though. Like, you can still target him from the air. And I mean, sure, destroying his construct is annoying, but at least like if you have a good bow user, like if you had a Ganyu, you could still do some damage to him. But like the Waynut is like underground, and the Rock Snake is underground. You literally cannot target him. And then like I remember the Imaginarium Theater thing too, where it was like the Waynut would be underground, and then his tail would pop up at random parts of the arena. Never the same spot. It's like, oh, he went underground in the north, and his tail pops up in the south. It's like, you have no fucking clue that's where he would pop up. So you can't prep that shit, so you waste time getting to the tail, and by the time you get to it, the tail starts receding away, and you're like, fuck. So, yeah. That's why I kind of hate time trials in general. Like, sure, it's a good way to test you, but I just hate being timed. I just hate feeling the pressure of being timed. And the only reason I do Imaginarium is for these envisioned echoes. So I have do I have every single one? I think I have every one. Maybe I don't have Diluc's one yet. Because I don't really care about Diluc that much. Even though he's also C6. I never really liked him, so I never used him. Yeah. And like to a degree it makes sense. Obviously if you have good DPS and you know your rotation well, sure, you're gonna... Oh, okay, so yeah, basically, I have to get Diluc's Vision Echo before I get my keys. So basically, I haven't done this month yet, so basically I'll get Diluc's Vision Echo, then I'll have literally every Vision Echo, and I'll have max keys. So if they don't introduce new Envisioned Echoes for the next patch, then I probably won't do Imaginarium Theater at all, because I would already be capped on keys, and there's no point in doing it. I only do it for the keys. If they didn't have Envisioned Echoes, I probably wouldn't do this either. I rarely ever do a Spiral Abyss either. It's just like, Like, I have money. I'd rather just spend money and not have to deal with that shit. Even though, like, it is easy. I could do floors 10 and 11 super... Or 9, 10, and 11 probably super quick. I'm just like, you know what? I'd rather just spend money. I'd rather just spend $20 and not have to deal with that shit. Get the same amount of primos. I also forget. Because if it was, like, every week, I might remember. Because it's, like, the kind of thing I can get into a habit of doing. Like, I don't forget my Honkai Star Rail Divergent Universe, Simulated Universe type stuff, because it's every week. So it's like, oh shit, I haven't done it for this week. Okay, Saturday, Sunday, I gotta make sure I set aside some time. Yeah, and like, especially with my account, with all the characters I have, 9, 10, 11 would be super quick. 9, 10 would be like brain dead easy, wouldn't have a hard issue. I forget about it for the most part. Like, I'm just not in the habit of doing it, and the fact that it's every 15 days is kind of weird, so I can't even be in the habit of like doing it every week. And so I end up just forgetting. Because if I don't get into a habit of it, I just forget. Out of sight, out of mind. And 2 weeks is too long to remember something. That's kind of why, like, I still haven't done Imaginarium yet. It's because I just keep forgetting about it, or I keep putting it off. And then I'm like, oh shit, I have a week until the end of the month. Fuck, I gotta get on this. I could. They do remind you. They do give you the little chime. The problem with that though, is that like I log in during the day, like now, during my like lunch breaks. So I'm like walking on my treadmill while I'm doing this shit, and so I'm logging in to do my dailies. So I go in, I spend my resin, I maybe do an event quest or shit like that if it's available. Or if I'm not doing it for this game, I do it for Zenless Zone Zero, because like Zenless Zone Zero had a new patch. There's that quest to do. So like I log into Genshin, I'm not really like looking to spend much time in it, and then that's when I see the alert. Oh hey, new Stygian reset happened, or not Stygian, Spiral Abyss reset happened. That was already gone. Yeah, the Spiral Abyss reset happened. I'm like, oh yeah, Spiral Abyss. Whoops, I forgot to do it last time. Okay, and then by the next day when I logged in, maybe I have time that day, but I forgot because it's no longer reminding me. So it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, what you said is definitely like I should kind of get in the habit of doing it on reset. It's harder when it's like because like I could. Although, it's the end of my lunch right now, so I'm looking to stop. I've been walking on my treadmill for an hour, so I'm getting a little tired and I'm hungry. So, but yeah, that's the kind of thing I could do. Or on like the weekends and stuff like that. But it probably would help too, because like there definitely are some bosses in Imaginarium Theater that I never really fought properly in the overworld, because you can just kill them quickly enough and you can kind of ignore their mechanics. But then when you fight them in Imaginarium Theater, it's like, oh, actually, you have to do their mechanics now. Like the lava snake, where it was like, oh yeah, you got to do fire damage to it. I'm like, oh okay, that's fine. I'll have a Mavica, Toma, Furina, and Lolly. I have 2 pyro characters. That'll be fine. No, when they say must need pyro, what they really mean is do not have any Hydro or Cryo on your team, or you will fucking not be able to do this. Because the amount that Cryo and Hydro reactions reduce the gauge is so much that your Pyro characters cannot keep up at all. And but I never did that because like it wouldn't matter, because we'd fight him in like one of the domains, and you could just like blast through him super quick regardless of your type. So actually having to fight him with proper mechanics, you're like, oh. It's the same for the there's the same for like a freeze one, where it was like, yeah, if you don't have freeze team, you're fucked. Like the one in Natlan. And not even just freeze, but a non-Natlan freeze team. This enemy, where it was like, if you have Natlan characters, you fill up his gauge quicker, so you can't use Natlan characters, but you also need to freeze him, because freezing him will reduce his gauge. And not using Natlan characters will also keep his gauge low. So you have to have freeze characters. And if you don't have a freeze team by that point, and he was like the last boss of the thing, and I never really like properly fought him. Yeah, I mean, not even just Escoffier, like a pure freeze team would have been fine for the most part, although Escoffier obviously emboldens him a lot. But the thing is, you just need to keep that gauge low, because normally he does that 2 little like water beams that circle around him. If his gauge ever fills up, it becomes 4 water beams. So like maybe you could dodge through the beams when they're just 2, even though it ruins your rotation, your like attack rotation. But when you have 4, you just have to constantly dodge. It's insane. So it's like you cannot like let that gauge fill. So you have to be able to freeze him. And so there's been a lot of enemies like that. Yeah, where it's just like they just like are really gimmicky. They do these really gimmicky things, and at least in Spiral Abyss, you can pick your team freely for the most part, and it just needs to survive three rooms on either side. So one team just needs to survive 3 rooms. Not super difficult. If you fuck up, then you can just retry it again. But with Imaginarium, it's like, after you've gone like 10 rooms, getting random characters, maybe. And for me, like I just didn't have a freeze team by that point for that freeze one, because I used up my freeze team in previous fights. And if I'd known I absolutely had to have them, I would have saved them. And then that's what I did. I did it again. I made sure to reserve my Skirk and Furina to at least have one stamina by the end of it. So just Skirk, Furina, Escoffier, and maybe someone else, I forget. And yeah, we absolutely fucked him up. He died super fucking quick. So yeah, like there've been times like that where I'm just like, I've never really fought this boss properly because on the overworld or in domains, they're a joke that you can just power through regardless of strategy. But in Imaginarium, you actually have to pay attention to their mechanics to a degree, especially later on. And like if I did Spiral Abyss, I would probably know this because I would have probably fought them at some point. Even if it was just floor 11, I would have at least seen their mechanics and I would know, oh, okay, that's the mechanic of this guy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's insanely worse. The fact that you don't start with the energy is bullshit. I think not starting with energy is really shit. Like, I guess it does definitely test your how well your characters are built to see how quickly you can get your energy and start your rotation. But it does suck because that extra level of difficulty just means new characters, like new people, have an even harder time of doing it because that's the kind of thing that needs like R5, 4-star weapons or really good min-maxed artifacts, which kind of just increases the barrier to entry. But yeah, I mean, having difficulty challenges like that are fine because, you know, it gives people a goal to work for. Yeah. But anyway, it was nice chatting with you, but I have to go. It's time for me to get something to eat and shower off. Super thirsty as well. But I stream this, well, maybe not this specifically. I stream Genshin or Zenless on Zero usually as my workout, walking, dailies thing. And then on weekends and stuff, I play other games like Honkai Star Rail and an actual normal I play story games. Like I'm playing through Ghost of Yotei. I'm playing Borderlands 4 as well. I'm not doing too much in that, mostly just doing dailies and maybe some side quests. But yes, and you too. And of course, you can always pop onto my YouTube and see stuff I've played before. That's where I throw all my VODs. And yeah, maybe next time we can hang out again. If you happen to be available when I'm streaming. I pretty much stream every day for the most part, but it's kind of random times. It's whenever I have time. It's basically whenever I would be normally playing a game, I just stream while I do it because it is incredibly easy to do so from my PS5. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.